Welcome to my channel. My name is Jamera, and I feel like today I want to review some of my favorites of the past year. Happy New Year, by the way. If you hear sirens, I live in New York, so they're inevitable. Sirens, honking, all that stuff. I wanted to just film a couple things. I am trying to beat the sunlight. I'm racing against the sun, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, 2024, we're like almost 10 days into the new year, so this will I feel like I'm a little late on this, but I've written out a couple of my favorites from the year. I sort of like separated them by categories. So first thing I want to jump into is beauty. For me, last year I felt like I discovered the best red lip, and that was the Violette. I don't know how she pronounces it, but it's Violette. It's the Violette Petal Bouche color. I just feel like it's such a pretty hue. I'm wearing it right now. It's a really pretty hue. I do like a matte lipstick. It dries down really nicely. And I love it so much. It feels really luxurious. And it's definitely like my go-to red lip. Next thing I wanted to talk about is the Danessa Myricks Color Fix products. I mentioned this in my last vlog because I was trying out like a new look, but I have been so obsessed with the Color Fix products. She has such a large range of colors, and I've like, over the course of the year, I've picked up a couple of them. And there's still so many I want to get, but I have the Liquid Metals one in Gild, and then I have the matte one in chocolate, and I really love using the chocolate one for like just a nice like smoky vibe. And then I have the clear glaze. I really love this product because I've used it a couple times on my eyelids for just like a glossy effect, and it doesn't dry down. It's amazing. I've also used it on my lips because I don't have like a ton of like just like plain lip gloss, and I also just really love it. It feels really moisturizing. It's super simple to use, and that's why I feel like that with all of the Color Fix products is you don't need to use a ton of product, and they're so like multi-purpose, which I feel like this last year I've just been really into multi-purpose products. Moving on to the next category, which is my favorite, is bags. I got a lot of bags this year, and a lot of bags all in the same time. There was one bag that one week where I bought 3 bags. And I feel like I haven't purchased a lot of things this year, but that week was wild. But one of my favorite things that I got this year is this crepe bag from Olin Backpacks in this gorgeous coral color. I love the color. I think it was a part of their summer collection, but I ended up getting it like in the fall on sale, which was so great. But it is, Olin Backpacks is a Barcelona brand of bags, and I was in the like mood for another work bag, but I really wanted like a more dynamic shape. I really wanted to like play around with colors. I did that a lot in 2024. So yeah, this bag was like an extension of that. Like, I love the handles. I love, you know, the piping. It just like it's a really fun bag. And so that was like, I use it all the time. It's a really great statement bag. But the other bag that I bought that same week was this gorgeous, I know that like everyone was really inspired by the Coach Brooklyn bags. I was not willing to spend that much money, but I did get this gorgeous bucket bag from Anthropologie. I really was looking for a fall appropriate bag that was large enough. It wasn't like black. It wasn't, you know, like burgundy. I feel like those standard fall colors. And I feel like this bag from Anthropologie was like the perfect addition. It also comes with a little pouch, which I really love too, because it's hard to keep track of things. Like, I feel like in a bucket bag, it's easy for everything to just like get lost. But yeah, I really love this bag. It's really pretty. My last bag that I got was this bag from this vintage store that I saw. I was like, this is really cool. Like, I really love a nice handmade bag. Anything sort of that's like handcrafted. So I got this. It's more sort of like, I don't know a word to describe this, but I would just say it's like more handmade, maybe a little more like natural. It's sort of like a briefcase because it expands. There's like a bit of a accordion vibe to it, which is fun. But I got this from the store, and the details are just like so amazing. And I even think that I think there's something in, yeah, there's like another wallet inside of a pocket in the bag. And I don't know, I just feel like when you come across something that is just like really beautifully constructed, like on the inside, there's sort of like a suede, because this is definitely real leather. And even like, I don't know how these things are constructed, but I'm just really amazed by it. And then I think you saw like on the inside it said Mexico in it, so I am going to guess that it was made in Mexico. But even the back is really amazing, like design. And here's a pocket, but you wouldn't know that. It's just so fun. I just really like things that tell a story. So yeah, those are the bags that I got. This is from the last bag was from this vintage store in Brooklyn that I stumbled upon. I feel like I don't even go into vintage like thrift stores or anything like that. It's just not, first off, because I know I have a bag problem, and those are like, if you want to find a cool bag, you're really likely to find it in a thrift store. So it's like sometimes I gotta avoid it for that, but for the most part, I don't really find any clothes or anything like that that I would wear to like casually shop at often enough. So I don't go to thrift stores a lot. So it was a real like one-off, and I was like, I need it. And I was able to negotiate her down. So a win is a win. Moving on to clothing, shoes, all that stuff. Let's start with shoes. Last year, one of my goals, especially like as we were getting into the summer, was to lean into more colorful footwear. So one of the things that I got that was on my list that I saw was just like, I really need this, were the red and white Adidas. So I got these. They're really beautiful. They still, even they look good like in the camera, but they're still a really nice color. I've really been loving red. And I think that they're such a beautiful color. They go well with a lot of like my outfits. I really like the more, they're like a low shoe, they're super minimal, but they still make a fun statement. Then another thing I won't show because they're a little like crudgy, but I really loved these mesh white Mary Jane shoes from Camper that I picked up last year. I feel like this was like, I really ventured into another area with this shoe because it was mesh and it was white. And that was another thing too. I wanted to find a shoe that wasn't a heel, that was still like stylish, but also really like interesting. I know that mesh flat shoes were trending last summer, the past like few summers. But yeah, I just thought I would go for it. I really love the style, and I also didn't see a ton of shoes that were like that, elements of it, but it didn't look as like chic, I would say. But anyways, I really love them. I got them from Camper. I will like include a little clip here of what they look like on. But they're really fun and like feminine, but really unique. And then once we like got into the fall and I started doing like a little fall shopping, I knew that I wanted to get another pair of New Balance sneakers, but I wanted to get them in a different style and also a different colorway. So I didn't want to get, what were they? The 990s in like the gray tone. I didn't love it, and I really wanted to find like a green, like olive, sort of like army tone type of sneaker. So I ended up buying these from Go. They're an old sneaker, and I was a little concerned about like, I think they're from like the Teddy Santos collection, but I love this colorway. I really think for one, this is like a different shoe for me, because the other ones that I have are like the 2001 sneakers, so different style, different feel, and they're incredibly comfortable. So, and they didn't split or anything. I had like a fear of buying old sneakers and them just sort of falling apart, but these were really good and super stylish, and I've been getting a lot of wear out of them, which is really what you want. Moving into actual clothing though, I feel like one of my favorite pieces from last year, I feel like that shows up often like on my Instagram, is this gorgeous cropped mock turtleneck pink sweater that I got from Old Navy. I don't know what it was. I'm a little bit bummed because I don't think they're like brought this style back, but it was such a great buy because it's a really pretty color. It's a really fun pop of color. It's really comfortable. But I love this sweater so much. I will show all the times I've worn it. It's just really fun. So I would love to get another sweater that's like that, but has a really fun color too, like a red, or I'd even take it in a black. I feel like it would be great to have. Like, I'm not someone that's one of those people that's, oh, if I like an item, I need it in every color. But I would get this shirt if like in the standard basic, like black and like navy. Like I'd love to buy a lot of colors in that style. So I'm honestly still gonna be like checking the Old Navy website to see if they come out with anything new, but it's such a like a fan favorite of mine. I have it, but I just don't feel like getting up to get it. All right, I did end up getting up. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Gorgeous, like Pepto-Bismol pink, Bismol. Okay, but this is pretty fun pink color. I feel like, yeah, the sun is really working against us, so I'm gonna keep talking faster. Oh, okay, so this one was like a really interesting addition that I didn't expect to love so much, but also simultaneously didn't get a lot of use out of it, a lot of like wear out of it. And this was the Baggu tent. I have been wanting a pop-up tent for a while now, but I did see that Baggu had a tent, and so I ended up like buying that one, and it was so fun. Like, I love the designs of it. I love like how compact it was. You could like fold it up, it came in a little bag, and it was like, it really helped me like be more outside, because it was just so fun and cool. And like a lot of my friends was like going out, and so I was like bringing it. It was just a really nice thing, but the wires in the tent like would break, and they've been known to be defective. So I ended up needing to like reach out to Baggu, and they sent a replacement, but they're not making them anymore. But I don't want to get rid of my first tent. I want to hope to like find wires that I can still use to like replace it, but I love that baguette. I'll like share a picture of it here. But it was such a fun summertime moment. And because I feel like this year I didn't buy a ton of things, and for me, I feel like I like to spend money more on experiences than items. I would say one of my favorite like things that I did last year was like go to comedy shows, do more art classes. Like that stuff was like really fun and really exciting. I learned a lot about different art mediums. And then I also just laughed a lot, which I love to do. So I feel like that was big. And then I love museums, and I went to a ton of museums last year, which was a ton of like exhibits and stuff. And one of my favorite ones was the Alvin Ailey, not the Alvin Ailey, the Harlem, which I did love and is still out in like the Whitney for until like February 9th if you are in New York. But it was the Harlem Renaissance exhibit at the Met. It was the Harlem Renaissance and Transatlantic Modernism, and I probably went to that exhibit 4 times. It was an amazing exhibit, and I never seen anything like it at the Met, and I think they did a really great job. I never seen any of those works from Black artists, and I was so inspired because these were artists from like the 20s, 30s, and the talent that they had, the skills that they had, the different styles that they like that they were like inspired by and created. It was so amazing. So I went and I ended up getting I had to get like the exhibit book because you just need to. And I don't open it a lot. I feel like I collected like so many art books last year, but I don't go through them often. So I think I want to work on that this year too. It's just like flick through the books, get some inspiration, and learn a little thing, learn something. For some reason, I have 1 minute left on this camera. So I think I have like 2 more things to talk about. First one, books. Next category. Oh wait, no, I'm not done with experiences. Oh my gosh. So my other thing that I did more of or have been doing more of are going to concerts. And last year I went to the Anderson .Paak Malibu tour, which was so good. I really loved that album when it came out, but I wasn't really going to see Anderson .Paak on tour before. So I went to that concert, and it was so fun. It was really brief, but the instrumentation was great, and like it was paced really well. He sounded great. It was just a good time. So I'm excited in 2025 to be doing more concerts for artists I actually love and like am willing to deal with people and like spend money on. So I'm excited for that. The thing I wanted to talk about was books. I started a lot of books last year. I purchased a lot of books last year. I didn't finish a lot of them. Yeah, it was not a great book. It was not a great year of reading, but I did want to highlight some of the books that I feel like did really make an impact on me. And I am admittedly still working through. First one is All About Love, Bell Hooks. I had seen like people really highly recommended this book, and I did start reading it, and probably like 2 pages in I was shook. So that explains, why we're only halfway through. But it was such a great book. It so far, and I'm really glad that I'm in my 30s now, so it's given me a lot to chew on reading this book for sure. But it's really like eye-opening. It's a lot to like think about and reflect on, love, what that looks like in different, relationships, familial, intimate, friendship, you know, relationships. It's all very interesting to unpack. I really loved her definition of love. That really was like the first thing that floored me, because I had never thought about it in that way. Yeah. I never like thought about love in that way. Where she like, oh yes, okay. I'm gonna read this excerpt because I think I read it to everybody. But she says, oh well, she's like repeating, she's like echoing the work of Eric Fromm. He defines love as the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. To extend, like, it's just very, you know, thinking about like words and what they mean and everything. It's just like, wow. It's like, I get that is what love means. I don't know. It's very interesting. And now it's like, now I need to like go back and read it. But okay, the sun's going down. So yeah, I would say Bell Hooks, All About Love. That was a really eye-opening, it has been a really eye-opening experience to start reading this book in 2024. And then the next book I had was, it's like, I guess it's not really an art book, but it feels like it's still really artistic, and that is the Black Market Vintage book. I have talked about Black Market Vintage and recorded like the store and everything a few times, but they are a store that sells like Black ephemera, just sort of like, yeah, objects and images related to Black history, Black American history. So they had a store in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn that they recently closed, and they're looking for a new space, and I miss it every single day. But they had a book that they came out with in the fall, or released in the like fall maybe, I think. And I have it, and I love it. I really love it. I feel like you never really, and even they mention it in the book, it's like, what would a book like this even entail? And so they talk about like how they got started. They talk about what their process is. They give advice for folks who are interested in collecting and doing the same sort of work that they do. And so far it's just been really, really just a beautiful experience reading this, and also just thinking about, you know, what are everyday materials that we're using now that someone 40, 60, 80 years from now would want to collect, and like, what are those objects that specifically relate to Black history? I mean, I guess there's like pictures and stuff. Anyways, so yeah, love this book. Recommend y'all get this book, and the Bell Hooks books, of course. But I think the last one I have before the sun officially sets, and we're in the dark, is movies. So I purchased, one of my favorite things I got was this unlimited movie pass, and it's like you spend almost like $30 for a movie for this pass, and you can watch as many movies as you want in the month. And I took advantage of that for sure. I watched around like almost 40 movies this year in the theaters, and I really just enjoyed it. It was just like a really fun moment to just take in like new like works, films, writing, different like, you know, genres of film, and I just had a good time. Like, it's just like a really fun solo activity to do. But there were a lot of cool movies that came out, and I would say my favorite one was Sing Sang, which is a movie about the sort of like a documentary style movie. I don't remember the actual term, but it's a movie about this play. Is it a play or is it show? It's just like this arts program. Yeah, it says this art program that originated in the Sing Sing Correctional prison in New York. And their program of what they do and sort of like follows this man. I don't know if he is a real man, if he is like a real person, but it sort of is oh my god, I don't know the term for this type of film, but it follows just like his experience being like sort of spearheading this program and the sort of trials and tribulations that he comes up with in being a part of that program, and like the artist that he is, but also just sort of like the very real circumstances of him being in prison, in jail, and the legal elements of that. And it's just a really interesting movie, just really, 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 really beautiful. And I really liked it because, well, I feel like there's so many films around like traumatic Black experiences, and we know how damning and just like damaging like the justice system here is in America, and how harmful it's been to the Black community. So I felt I was really wary going into the movie, just because it's like, oh, I don't want to see trauma, I don't want to see any pain. It's like I get it, it's still very much real, and I just didn't want to be like, I just didn't want to deal with that. But this movie showed me something new. I learned something new. It wasn't traumatic at all. There was no like pain. Well, there wasn't any like, you don't see any pain being inflicted on anyone. But it was a really beautiful, really moving story and movie. And what was so cool, it was just like the people who this like film was based around, like they were the actors in the movie. They played themselves, which was so amazing. After the fact, and I learned, I was just even more blown away by their skills in the movie itself. And also just like, I don't know, just like really proud of them, like, and where they were and how far they had come. And it was a really powerful movie. So I think they're gonna re-release Sing Sing soon, but in the theaters, I really hope y'all see it, because it was a phenomenal movie. I feel like there are so many movies that are being made that are different, that are Black stories, but they're told, I don't know if this film is told by a Black person, but they're still Black stories that are a bit like diverging from the standard stereotypical format of sharing Black stories, and they're sort of being overlooked. Like, and I will die on this hill, but I feel like 1001 was one of them, and They Clone Tyrone was another one. And those are phenomenal movies. And I feel like a lot of people just like completely overlook them. And yeah, y'all should watch all those movies, but definitely check out Sing Sing if they re-release it in your like movie theaters. But also like if you see it in streaming, that's another thing too. It's just like, where is it shown in streaming? Like, why is it so hard for these? I'm not in the movie industry. Anyways, it's pretty dark. I'm looking at the camera now, it's pretty dark. But thanks. That's pretty much the end of my 2024 favorites. I don't know. Comment below if y'all had any favorites that were also on this list too. But I will see y'all next time. Pretty soon, probably. All right, bye.